There comes a time in every person's life when they feel tired. Tired of the drama, tired of the emotional games, tired of feeling like they're walking on eggshells just to keep someone else from exploding. And at that moment, there's a voice deep inside whispering, you don't have to live like this. That voice, quiet at first, but if you listen, it grows louder. It's the voice of truth telling you it's time to draw a line in the sand, to set a boundary so strong it can't be shaken. Now, let me tell you something about boundaries. They are not walls. They're not about shutting people out forever or carrying bitterness. Boundaries are about love, real love, starting with love for yourself. Because when you love yourself, you refuse to let anyone else treat you like you're less than. You refuse to let someone's chaos take over your calm. The moment you decide to set that boundary, you are making one of the most powerful choices of your life. And yes, it can be scary. Oh, it can be so scary because most of us are raised to please, to avoid conflict, to keep the peace by sacrificing our own. Maybe you've been that person who said yes when you wanted to say no, who answered calls at midnight even though you were exhausted, who let the same toxic comments slide because you didn't want to be the bad guy. But what did it cost you? It cost you your peace, your energy, sometimes even your self-worth. When you finally set a boundary, everything changes. You look someone in the eye, or maybe you don't even need words. Maybe it's just in your actions. And you say, no more. That's it. Simple, powerful. No more being guilted into conversations that drain you. No more accepting behavior that hurts you. No more shrinking yourself to make someone else feel big. Now, here's the thing about toxic people. They feed off access. They thrive on knowing they can push you, test you, get a rise out of you. But when you draw that line and hold it, really hold it, they don't know what to do anymore. They might push harder at first, testing. If you're serious, but when they see you're not moving, not bending, not apologizing for protecting yourself, their power fades. Because their power was never real. It only existed in the space you gave them. You see, boundaries aren't about them. They're about you deciding what you will not accept in your life. It's like saying, this is my home and only love lives here. Only respect walks through these doors. Anything else stops at the threshold. That one choice changes everything. And yes, it may come with loss. Some people might leave. They may call you selfish. They may say you've changed. And they'd be right. You have changed. You've stopped being the person who sacrifices themselves to keep someone else comfortable. You've become the person who knows their worth and protects it fiercely. Setting that boundary doesn't just protect you from toxic people. It attracts the right ones. The healthy people, the people who respect you enough to honor your space, your time, your energy. Because when you raise your standards, the energy around you shifts and you realize something. It was never about fixing them. It was about healing you. Boundaries teach people how to treat you. They say, I will not be spoken to like that. I will not be manipulated like that. I will not allow that energy into my life. And once you establish that, toxic people usually have two options: grow or go. Either they respect the line you've drawn, or they find someone else who will tolerate their behavior, but it won't be you. The first time you set a boundary, it feels strange, almost unnatural. You might even feel guilty. But guilt is not a sign you're wrong. It's a sign you're breaking old patterns. And breaking old patterns is how we build new lives. One where your soul feels lighter. One where you sleep better at night because you're not replaying conversations in your head, wondering why you let it happen again. And let me tell you, that feeling, when you finally stand in your power, when you protect your peace, it's like breathing for the first time. Because deep down, you know you don't owe anyone access to your energy if it costs your joy. So if you want toxic people to stop bothering you, do this once. And for all due, set that boundary. Hold it firm. Don't explain, don't apologize, don't bend. And watch how your life changes, is riding on. Because when you love yourself enough to protect your energy, you send a message to the world I am worthy of respect, and I will not settle for anything less. And here's the beautiful thing: when you do it once, really do it, something inside you shifts permanently. It's like unlocking a door you didn't even know was there, a door to a life where your peace is sacred. Your energy is your own, and your heart is finally free. There's something powerful that happens the day you stop chasing approval. The day you wake up and realize that you've been bending, twisting, shrinking yourself to fit into places you were never meant to be. And you finally say to yourself, been enough. Eating on, I am done seeking validation from people who don't even see me. We live in a world that teaches us early on to look outward for worth. Think about it. Growing up, you were praised when you performed well, when you pleased others, when you made everyone happy. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned that love is conditional, that you are valuable only when someone else says so. And if you've carried that belief into adulthood, then toxic people have likely sensed it too. They can smell that hunger for approval, and they use it to keep you under their thumb. They criticize, and you scramble to prove them wrong. They withhold affection, and you bend over backward trying to earn it. They manipulate. And you respond by questioning yourself, wondering if you're good enough. But here's the truth. Their validation is not proof of your worth, and their rejection is not a reflection of your value. The moment you stop seeking validation, something inside you shifts. It's like standing in front of a mirror for the first time and actually seeing yourself. Not through the eyes of others, but through your own. And in that reflection, you realize you've been whole all along. You don't need someone clapping for you in order to stand tall. You don't need their words to believe you matter. When you're kiting, when you stop looking to toxic people for approval, you take back your power. You stop playing their game because you realize their rules were never designed for you to win. They kept you in a cycle. You perform, they withhold. You try harder, they move the goalpost. That cycle is exhausting, and it's built to keep you small. But when you step out of it, when you say, I'm enough exactly as I am, whether you see it or not, you break free. And yes, it's uncomfortable at first. That old habit of wanting to explain yourself, to prove your intentions, to win someone over, it doesn't disappear overnight. You'll feel the urge to justify, to say, please understand me. But every time you choose silence over defending yourself, every time you choose to walk away instead of beg for acceptance, you get stronger. Here's the beautiful thing: when you stop needing validation, you start listening to something more powerful. Your own voice, that voice that's been drowned out by noise for so long. It's the voice that knows when something doesn't feel right, when someone is crossing a line, confidence riding on, when a relationship is draining you. And because you're no longer waiting for someone else to give you permission, you can actually honor what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. Toxic people lose interest when you stop feeding them your energy. They thrive on reaction, is riding on. They love when you're desperate to win their favor, because that desperation gives them control. But when you no longer respond, when you don't chase their approval or argue for your worth, their power over you disappears. Suddenly, they have nothing to work with, and most of them will either step back or step out of your life completely. Now, I'm not saying you stop caring about people. I'm saying you stop letting people determine how you feel about yourself. There's a difference. You can still love deeply, still show compassion, still be kind, but your self-worth is no longer on the table for someone else to bargain with. Think about the freedom that gives you. No more sleepless nights replaying conversations. No more walking into a room wondering who likes you and who doesn't. No more chasing someone who keeps moving away. You learn to stand grounded in who you are, and that peace, it's unshakable. You'll also notice something amazing happens when you stop seeking validation. The right people show up. People who see you, who appreciate you as you are, who don't need you to shrink or twist yourself. Because when you stop settling for crumbs, you open yourself up to a feast of healthy, life-giving relationships. But it starts with you. It starts with telling yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. I don't need their approval to be whole. Say it until it becomes truth in your bones. Because the moment you believe that, everything changes, not just how you see yourself, but how others treat you. Toxic people will always exist. There will always be someone who wants to control, someone who wants to criticize, someone who wants to make you feel small. But their words can't stick if you no longer give them power. Their behavior won't hurt as deeply if you stop making their opinion your measuring stick. Your worth isn't in their hands. It's in yours. And when you finally let go of needing their validation, you open the door to something far greater in respect, inner peace, and freedom. So if you want toxic people to stop bothering you, do this one. C, stop chasing their approval. Stand tall in who you are. Let your own voice be the loudest one you hear. Because when you stop explaining, stop proving, stop begging for acceptance, you'll realize something incredible. You were never the problem. You were always enough. There comes a moment in life when you realize peace is not something someone else can hand you like a gift wrapped in shiny paper. It is something you choose. It's something you guard. It's something you decide belongs to you and no one else can take it away. And the truth is riding on. Most of us don't even know how much we've been sacrificing our peace until it's gone. We let people's words sit on our shoulders. We let their moods dictate ours. We let their chaos pour into our calm. And then we wonder why we feel so heavy all the time. But protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's survival. It's sacred. Ood, this life is too short, and my soul is too precious to let somebody else's storm destroy my sunshine. For a long time, maybe you thought keeping the peace meant avoiding conflict, staying quiet when someone disrespected you, saying yes when every bone in your body wanted to say no. You thought being the peacemaker meant putting everyone else first, even if it left you empty. But here's the lesson life teaches us: sooner or later, in keeping everyone else comfortable often means abandoning yourself. And every time you abandon yourself, you lose a piece of that inner calm that makes life worth living. Protecting your peace begins the day you decide you are worth protecting. That your time, your energy, your emotions are not open for public use. It's when you start asking yourself, ooh, does this person bring light into my life? Or do they drain me? Do I feel safe in their presence, or do I feel small? Ooh, and when the answer hurts, you have to be brave enough to act. Confidence is riding on. Sometimes protecting your peace looks like walking away from an argument you know will go nowhere. Is riding on. Sometimes it's turning off your phone because you know one text can send your whole mood spiraling. Sometimes it's choosing silence when someone tries to bait you into drama because you've learned not every battle deserves your energy. That is power. Quiet, steady power that says, I choose me today. And yes, people will talk. They will say you've changed, that you've become distant, that you're cold now. But they don't understand the cost of constantly being available, of constantly being the one to absorb everyone else's negativity. They don't see how heavy it is to carry someone else's anger, someone else's criticism, someone else's pain that they keep dumping on you. When you finally put it down, when you say, this is not mine to carry, they might not like it, but your spirit will breathe. The most powerful thing about protecting your peace is how it changes everything else. When your mind is quiet, you hear yourself again. You hear what you really want, what you really feel, what you've been ignoring because you were so busy trying to keep up with everyone else's noise. Suddenly, decisions become clearer. Relationships become easier to evaluate. You stop chasing situations that don't fit you and start attracting the ones that do. You'll also find your body thanks you for protecting your peace. Stress, tension, sleepless nights. They start to fade when you let go of environments and people that keep you on edge. Your confidence is riding on. Your shoulders feel lighter because you're not carrying the weight of other people's opinions. Your breath comes easier because you're no longer bracing for the next emotional hit. Does this mean life becomes perfect? No. You'll still face challenges, still have difficult days, still encounter people who try to stir up chaos. But when you've built a boundary around your peace, if you're calm, those storms don't reach you the same way. You respond differently because you're grounded. You've learned the difference between reacting out of habit and responding with intention. There will be moments when protecting your peace feels lonely. You might lose people along the way, especially those who fed off your lack of boundaries. They may call you selfish or accuse you of thinking you're better than them. But here's the truth. Choosing peace isn't about thinking you're better than anyone. It's about refusing to let anyone make you worse. It's about saying, refuse to be someone I don't like just to make someone else happy. The longer you choose peace, the stronger you become. Confidence is riding on. You start to realize you don't have to engage in every argument. You don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. You don't have to explain why you value your mental health. Your life becomes a reflection of what you prioritize, and when you prioritize peace, people notice. Some will be inspired by it. Others will be threatened by it. But either way, you stay grounded because you know what it took to get here. And here's the beautiful part. Once you get a taste of true peace, you never want to go back. If your confidence is riding on, you'll stop tolerating things you used to accept because you now know what it feels like to wake up calm, to go through your day without carrying someone else's baggage, to lay your head down at night and actually rest. That is priceless. Protecting your peace means valuing yourself enough to let go of what's toxic, even when it's familiar, even when it's hard, even when it means disappointing people. But every time you choose peace, you're choosing your life back. And in that choice, you create a space where love, clarity, and joy can grow. So when someone asks how to make toxic people stop bothering them, this is the answer to protect your peace. Not once, not twice, but every single day until it becomes who you are. Because when you finally realize your peace is your power, there's no going back, was riding on. You'll carry it with you like a shield. And the things that used to shake you will barely make a ripple in your soul. There is a moment when you finally understand that not everyone is meant to stay. Some people come into your life like lessons wrapped in human form, teaching you about patience, resilience, or the power of saying goodbye. And when you choose to set boundaries, when you finally honor yourself enough to say, ooh, I won't live in chaos anymore. Something happens, people either grow with you or they go. It's a truth that's hard to swallow because many of us cling to relationships out of habit, out of history, or out of fear of being alone. We think that just because someone has been in our life for years, they're meant to stay forever. But longevity doesn't always equal loyalty, and familiarity doesn't always equal healthy. Some people are simply not equipped to go where you're going. They're not ready to rise with you. And when you raise your standards, they either step up or they step out. At first, it feels like loss. There's an H in your chest when you notice people distancing themselves. When someone you thought you couldn't live without starts to fade. What if that isn't loss? What if it's space? Space for something better, for something lighter, for something real. Because when people go, you gain room for people who can love you without conditions, who celebrate your boundaries instead of resenting them, who respect you instead of using you. The truth is, some people don't want to grow. They are comfortable where they are, even if where they are is messy or toxic. And your growth, your peace, your newfound strength, it makes them uncomfortable. It holds up a mirror they're not ready to look into. So they push back. They call you selfish is riding on. They accuse you of changing. They make you feel like the villain for choosing yourself. But let me tell you something. Choosing yourself doesn't make you the villain in their story. It makes you the hero in your own. Sometimes letting people go isn't about anger or hatred. It's not about punishing them. It's simply about accepting reality. You can't force someone to respect you. You can't make someone treat you better. You can't pull someone into your growth if they're determined to stay stagnant. And if you keep trying, you only end up draining yourself in the process. But when you let go, when you accept that someone's season in your life has ended, you reclaim your energy. You free yourself from relationships that feel like constant battles. You stop auditioning for love and approval that should have been freely given in the first place. You start attracting people who don't see your boundaries as threats, but as proof that you respect yourself. And they respect you for it. Yes, there will be people who grow. Some will see your boundaries, take a hard look at themselves, and choose to meet you at that higher level. That's a beautiful thing because it means your growth inspired theirs. But those who won't grow, they leave. And that's okay. Because when they go, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've succeeded in protecting your peace, in honoring your worth, in refusing to settle for less than you deserve. This process isn't easy. Letting go rarely is. You might cry. You might second guess yourself. You might even feel tempted to go back to old patterns because at least they were familiar. But every time you hold firm, every time you remind yourself why you drew that line in the first place, You're building a life that feels lighter and freer. It's like clearing out a closet full of clothes that no longer fit. At first, it feels strange to see so much empty space. But that space is an invitation, a promise of new things that will actually fit you, things that will make you feel good instead of suffocated. People are like that too. Some were never meant to stay forever. They were only meant to teach you, challenge you, or push you toward growth. Once they've served their purpose, holding on to them only holds you back. When you allow people to either grow or go, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to relationships that are mutual, respectful, and life-giving. You're saying yes to your future instead of clinging to the past. And you're saying yes to the truth that not everyone is meant to walk every mile of your journey with you. And that's perfectly okay. You'll find that the people who remain, the ones who grow alongside you, are often the ones who truly see you. They're not intimidated by your boundaries, they respect them. They're not offended by your self-love, they cheer it on. Those are the people you can build with, people who nourish your spirit instead of draining it. And the best part, you attract them effortlessly because your energy has changed. So when you ask how to keep toxic people from bothering you, the answer is this: let them grow or let them go. If they choose growth, welcome it. If they choose to leave, bless them and release them. Either way, you're lighter. Either way, you win, because life isn't about holding on to everyone. It's about holding on to yourself. And when you hold on to yourself, you never lose.